Alright, hello everybody, my name is Caleb, and today we'll be discussing what economics is, more specifically what macroeconomics is. And the reason why we're going to go over just a general overview at first is because economics is a very big field. So if you have not previously had any experience with economics, it's important that you get some background on it. Now, what is economics? Like, what comes to your mind when you first hear the word economics? If what you came to your mind is, say, the economy, just stocks, bonds, all that stuff, well, you're on the right track. Economics is related with human decisions in general. Economics is more than just that. It's more than just the financial aspect. Economics has a lot of sides to it, and there are the three main areas which economists are usually focused on, or that you can hear on people having different interests in the field, is in microeconomics and macroeconomics. Now, when I said three areas, it's because there are some people that specialize particularly in the use of econometrics, but econometrics is not important for this course, at least at this level, and you probably will not be seeing econometrics unless you get a graduate degree. You will not be seeing that topic in depth. So if you ever do cross into econometrics, we'll probably have videos about that eventually as well, but for right now we're going to focus on macroeconomics. Okay, so when I mentioned first, the question that we want to ask first is what is economics? So economics is the study of how individuals, firms, and society make decisions to allocate limited resources to many competing firms and to competing wants. So what this means is, as I mentioned before, is basically your decision making. Like you do not make a decision without at times taking into account everything that you're giving up or what that decision might entail. So there are many examples of this. For example, let's say that you go to buy a car. You might want a cheaper car, or you might want a more expensive car, and then you might weigh the pros and cons. The cheaper car, you're not gonna be spending so much money on it. That's a pro. You won't have to face devaluation of its price, or because as soon as you drive the new car, loses a lot of its value. It's just how it is. But as opposed to buying the cheaper car, if you buy a new car, then you will basically have a guarantee that your car will be running perfectly fine for a while because it's new, it hasn't been used before. So that's basically an example of a decision that entails economics, or just an example. So throughout this course, you will see the graph that we have on the screen right now. You will see it a lot. So it's good that you memorize it, not memorize it, but at least get very familiar with it right now. So we will go through each particular graph. In later chapters, we will go over them. For example, we will go more into depth of what demand entails and what supply entails. But for right now, let us focus on what we have on the screen. We're gonna do just a general overview of what each one is. So we see here that we have demand. That's the downward sloping curve. So it's the red curve. It's right here. It's that curve, and that would be our demand. Now we see that on our y-axis, and this is the y-axis side, not label it before. That's our y-axis, and this one right here, this would be our x-axis. So on our y-axis, we have our price. And that would be our dependent variable. So that dependent variable would be price. That means that price depends on quantity as well. So quantity would be our independent variable. So that's how it is right now. So what's going on then in this graph? So you see that demand is is a downward sloping graph. So what that means is, as you can see, the demand graph at the beginning of it, so it's right here where we're gonna say that this is the beginning of the graph. You know, we start to say that the value is down here. We have, for example, 1, 2. Well, that's rather nice. There we go, 3. And then we're gonna say we have these numbers right now, just for example, and we're gonna say that it's still pertaining to cars. So okay, so as you can see here, our price in the beginning of the graph, where you see that you have the quantity of 1 car, we said that this would be about cars. So let me just write that down too. So this would be about cars. Type it up. Take this one out. So we're gonna say that it's regarding cars. So we have it here at the beginning, we have the price, and our price is going to be increasing on Y. So here we can say that our price starting at 100, and it keeps going up. Let's say that the beginning up here where we have a graph, say that's about 2,000. So what we mean by this is, you see when there's a price, let's say that you have a car right now, and the price is at $2,000. Let's say that that's your whole budget. Say that your budget is $2,000. When the price is $2,000, when the price of the car is $2,000, you see that you can only buy 1 car. You can only go ahead and buy 1 of these. So that basically means that the more the price, the more expensive it is, the less quantity you're gonna want. So as opposed, let's say that there's a car that's costing $100. So you see how we're gonna follow this all the way across to where it intersects with our demand curve. And you see here, let's say that this would be here a number, and the x-axis would be 5. So you see how when the price is $100, you're willing to get 5 cars instead of 1. So what this means is that the amount of something that you're gonna get is dependent on the price. So if you're gonna get something more expensive, you're gonna want less of it, because as mentioned before, your budget is $2,000, so you can only get 1 car. As opposed to, let's say that it's $100 and well, you can get 5, but supposing that we just make this even out, can make that a whole 400. So 5 times 400 would be equal to $2,000. So that would be your whole entire budget. So that basically means that you would be getting a lot for your $2,000. You're getting 5 cars instead of 1. So that's basically how that works. And for supply, as opposed to demand, for supply is actually you see how it's upward sloping. So this means that supply, as price goes up, the amount the quantity that is going to be supplied is actually more. So the output is going to be more in the end. So it's kind of the opposite of demand. So here, but we're gonna focus on supply a lot more in that in another chapter. Like for right now, it's just demand that I want to focus on. So that's basically what the demand curve is, and that's an example of this graph that you're gonna be seeing a lot through the following chapters. And like I said before, when we stumble into supply, we'll go into that a lot more in depth as well. But for right now, I just wanted to focus on demand because it's what you're going to see in the first chapter of this course. Alright, So, difference between macro and microeconomics. So, as the name says, you know, like they're all capitalized here and underlining right now. They're two completely different studies. So when we talk about macroeconomics, we're talking about broader issues in the economy. And that includes like inflation, employment, and national output of goods and services. And when you think about macro, think about big. Think about the United States. Think about whichever country you're from over in Europe, Central America, South America. You know, it can be a country such as Honduras, countries such as Argentina, or Spain, whichever one you want. It can be Bulgaria. That doesn't really matter. So you have to think about big scale. You have to think in the grand scheme of things, of what the economy is, as opposed to micro. Like micro is a study of the decision making by individuals, businesses, and industries. So as it says, so in macroeconomics you have the bigger subject. So you have the country, and inside the country there are like smaller. So let's say that the U.S. is making a deal with oil producing companies. You know, it's the OPEC countries. So let's say that they're making a deal. That's at the macro level. That's the whole country making a deal with the oil companies. But the thing is, when they make the deal at the macro level, then they bring in the oil and they bring in the oil to the U.S. and then, you know, like gas gets priced and you know, you as an individual have a preference. So let's say that this happens to me. I have a gas station that's literally like 3 minutes away from where I live from. Sorry, and gas there is priced at about 30 cents more than the actual market price that you can find anywhere. So I choose like microeconomics. Like in the micro level, I choose not to buy my gas there. I choose to go somewhere else. So you see how that decision is more individual as opposed to the macroeconomy. The U.S. is making a deal with the oil companies. So that's basically what we're gonna be talking about. We're gonna be talking about the economy as a whole, and our main focus is here that we're gonna be going over our obviously like subjects such as inflation, unemployment, and everything that affects the economy. The economy receives shifts from these factors, and as mentioned before, when we go over the graphs, and you're gonna be seeing them a lot more in detail, and you know, like just like these lectures, or not lectures, these just review sessions, they will be able to provide you with the tools that are necessary for you to interpret them in a more thorough manner if you're struggling with it. And that's the whole aim of these series of lectures or training or tutoring sessions that we're gonna be going over to. So feel free to stick around with the rest of our videos, and pretty sure that you'll be able to get a lot of useful information out of them. Thank you.